So welcome to another session on business models. In this session, we're going to look at use cases. Very popular in a lot of industry at the moment, very heavily used in looking at blockchain processes because they're trying to work out exactly what might be the best way of looking at the security provided by blockchain mechanisms, okay, and putting use cases in place. It's very much a buzzword around that. And the way this works is very simple, is that we have to define initially our use cases, which are defined by a series of ovals, which will look at a certain set of functions within it. So you look at, say, ordering it, say, booking the process of booking a ticket to the cinema, for instance. So you'd have, the booking agent, book agent, right? You'd have the ticket system in place, right? You then have the cinema that needs to be contacted, for example, and then you'd have the order, right? And then whatever it is, and then the product, the ticket coming out itself, for example. It's not the best example, but this is what we call use cases. So these ovals are called use cases. Okay. Now, associated with these use cases, the idea is that this will provide a flow chain from one system to the next of what particular use case. This is one part of it. It's a flow in a sense, but it's a different sort of flow. It's trying to get use a particular case of functionality together. And associated, though, will be people or actors. They usually call them actors. So we might have one person here as the person booking that, who might be the ticket agent in that case, and therefore arrange the ticket. There'll be someone else here who may well be involved in the cinema and also therefore linked to the ticket because the cinema is providing the ticket for you, the ticket, right? And then that person might be back down here who will place the order, and then there'll be another person down here, another actor in here who will actually be providing the product, the ticket itself, and looking at all the other bits that go around it, for example. Right. So here we have our actors. Now, what we need to do, therefore, is provide a sort of a bounding box around these to contain the use cases. So we have a bounding box to contain the use cases. So that then links that sort of a bit like a subroutine, our bounding box. Therefore contains those as a flow of a particular activity. I mean, obviously choosing the cinema, a whole pile of other things might be some other subroutines if you like. Or, booking a place on a training course, for example. Right, there'll be people involved in taking the booking, people allocating the seats, arranging the course, sending out the material, and therefore getting the trainer on board and stuff like this. So all these things are part of the use cases, which will be here as a flow, which is then incorporated into a bounding box, and therefore you have the actors related to those, or the people you may have or may need to have, and that helps to raise that as well. People you may need to have, and therefore help you define who those actors are, the skill sets, etc. around, because now you understand what they need to have in order to satisfy and therefore operate that particular use case. So these are use cases. So just remember that use cases are there to sort of look at a set of events and look at the relationship between the people and those events. They're not like trying to define the flow so much in itself. So often there'll be a trigger of that event, those events itself, and therefore also looking at what we're trying to get out the product at the end of the events. Okay, and any preconditions that may be around that. So just bear that in mind. Remember, it's looking at a series of activities for an event and the relationship between those people in those events. So I hope that explains the use case perspective. And do remember to look at the other videos on other business models as well. Thank you.